Welcome to the RPG Hunt. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is setting up our one-shot. And so in weeks to come, every week it's going to be something new and something different. And each week I'm going to show you the prep to do this in Fantasy Grounds, and then as well as we're going to do a live on Twitch of the stream. Okay? And so what we're doing this week, what we're prepping for, is Blood in the Woods. It's a very simple and easy one shot that you can do, and you can import it for beginning adventures. And so I thought it'd be a good thing as we're beginning this channel. So it's a beginning adventure, right? And so, and through this process and things like that, what I'm going to be pulling up here in just a minute is Fantasy Grounds and showing you the simple things you can do. Because I would even say experience, moderately beginner, new into DMing, that it's very simple to get lost in a lot of the facets of getting in. How do I do this? How do I do that? So through here is what I'm going to be doing is just simply showing you how to get it set up, how to do it in Fantasy Grounds, and hopefully this will help you, as I needed help in from starting my time into here, and I wish these videos were here to help me look through this type of stuff. So let's get started. Alrighty, so here we are, right into Fantasy Grounds, and it's very simple. So we're going to be doing, so I did do some prep things, very simplistic things that I did. And so in this adventure, what it has is 3 different scenes or camps and things like that. So I did a little bit of just finding the images that I wanted and things like that. So what I've done, it's very simple. What you have to do is you come right over to here, images and maps. Boom. If you have something that you want to import into your images and maps and things like that, because you can try to find battlegrounds. So if you've gotten Fantasy Grounds, here's battle map. Start going in here. Here's, X battle map, blah, blah, blah. Very generic, simple stuff, right? And so what I've done is I want my own battle maps. So I just go to folder. It brings up my folder, and then you can see the ones, and then this will be empty for you if you've never loaded in your own battle maps, right? That will always be empty for you until you start to load into your own. And so what I've done is I start a camp in the woods. Boom, here it is. See, it's not connected to anything. It's its own separate thing. And here it is. Boom, done and done. It's already here. It's there. I put the grid up. Very simple. Now, what you can do onto that is all I did is see these. This is your F1 key, F2 key, F3 key. Oh, sorry. My camera's covering up some of it. So you see these numbers down here at the bottom. Those are all your F1, F2, F3, F4, and 10, up to 12, right? And then you hit Shift, and you can do another. These are your hotkeys, essentially, what you can do. So, here is F4, which is Undercroft. Boom, pulls it right up. Okay, so we're gonna start into the. I guess we can start into. This one is very simple, and so we'll start into the camp in the woods. Oops, and then I always hit the number 2. Okay. So in this moment here that the characters come into is they come into a camp, whatever. You'll see this in the live stream. So this is all about the prep. So there is one encounter that happens here in this moment. At some time when they're here, that there will be attacked. And so this is a simple image from the a website of just Google searching, finding a map, right? And so I found a camp in the woods, and I just called it Camp in the Woods. Very simple, very easy. But now, well, a lot of people in Fantasy Grounds, they get modules and things like that. They're already created for them and da-da-da-da-da. How do I do this? Very simple. You want to create an encounter? Encounter. You just click it. Click encounter. Okay. And then you click this edit list. What's this? Add item. Boom. So in this encounter, now we have a simple add encounter. All right, let's pull this up here. Okay. Wherever we can see it. So what's going to happen? Now, I have a very simple thing is going to happen. We're going to have some fire beetles. And that's part of, like, here is an image that I did is one of my quick things. And images, I don't know, maybe maps and images. Fire beetle. There it is. And instead of me having to type that in, all I did was you drag this and I just dropped it into my quick things. It's that simple. Okay. There's nothing more complicated than that. And then on here, it doesn't change the name of these. You can actually just change the name. This is the image. So I know I hit F5 and boom. And then I would click and say share. And then I would share with my party. So or with my players to let them know this is what you see. Very simple. But back to now, this is images and maps. We're creating an encounter. So what we would do here is NPCs. I want the same thing. Fire beetle. And it's a giant fire beetle. These are flying giant. These are flying fire beetles. Only like through this module that is a one shot. All it is, the only thing that changed is that they're walking and flying speed. But use the exact same monster manual rules. Okay, everything's the same. The only thing is that it flies at 30 feet, but if it's landed, it walks at 10 feet. That's simple. That's simple. Everything in here is the same for this module. And like I said, in the future, everything's going to be different. And maybe longer setups and things like that, depending. But the whole point of this is how you can quickly and easily set up a thing. We're going to run it, and then we're going to review on each one of these. So, different one shots. So, okay. So here is, I'm going to move. Let's go for the monster manual. So you just click and drag. Look, now I'm holding it here. Boom. Now, one cool thing about this module is that it scales, and depending on how many players are going to be in the module or the play session. So essentially what it does is it says, oh, if you have this many players, then you basically do one for each. If there's 4 players divided by 2, and that's how many are going to come into this encampment. But what mine's going blank here. So basically all you would do is, oh, there's one token and this will connect to this, but now all of a sudden I have more players. So in Fantasy Grounds, I can simply say maybe there's 10 players divided by 2 is 5. Boom, look at that. Now we have 5 fire beetles that will show up. So you just simply change that number. Okay. I know that I'm going to have at least 2. So I'm going to set that up. 2 that are going to come. Because they're more experienced players, so they'll be able to handle it. So, and then what am I going to name this encounter? Camp attack. Right? So now that's the encounter. Okay? And so what I will do, and this is you can apply the CR level, how much experience you want to do. That all depends on how you want to handle it. So I just simply lock this down. And then, boom. This is where I'm going to have them come from. So now this pin happens. And you might ask, okay, but I don't see any of the things. You didn't get to set them up. You didn't get to do anything. Yeah. So now I applied the pin there. Next thing I'm going to do, see how the placement is here and it shows two of these fire beetles? You don't see them here? So what I'll do is simply apply them to the map. Boom. And then let's say, this one is a little bit behind. And if you're wondering, I'm holding control and then using the mouse wheel, and I can make them a little bit bigger just so they're a little bit more apparent. And I can move them around, do this, right? Okay. Now, if you see when I just close that out. But what happened? So, camp, attack. But I don't need to type that. I don't need to find it there. I have the pin. Boom. But they're not there, right? Soon as I apply these into the combat log, and by just hitting that button right there, there they are. They are very apparent. So the players now, they don't see a pin. They don't see this. As the DM, you're the only ones that sees this. So all I do is simply say it's visible. Simply say it's visible. Now they see it. Now these two are coming in. Now wherever the players are, they make their movements. Now the only modification that this person made was that, like I said, and then they made this that they fly and then they have a different speed when they have landed. Now, if you want to see their stats, you just click the dragon here, and boom, here we are. Another armor class, another hit points. See, they don't have a lot of hit points. Very easy kill. Done and done. And that's it. I mean, literally, that is it. But now we've tested it out. What do I do now? Well, they don't need to be here. Now, if you see here on the combat tracker, you see how this little eyeball show NPC? Now, I always have it showed that the players do not see the NPCs. I don't like to see them in the combat tracker because if they see them, then they can click on these buttons. And they can, even if they couldn't, they can see the hit points, and then they might act differently. And as soon as I clicked this button here, add encounter to combat tracker, and then they appeared, it automatically rolls their initiative roll. So that's done. It's very simple. So this module is very simple and easy. And so they're there. And so all I have to do is delete item. Boom. Delete item. Now they're gone. But 2 more game. It's that easy. And you can automatically do it anytime you want. When you start the encounter or when you're running through anything, you can automatically do it. Once you see this, they cannot see these. You have to make them visible by setting that always as visible. By right click the eyeball, set as visible. Okay. And so I can actually leave this up if I wanted to, but I won't because I like clicking the buttons. Okay. So that is this map done. Okay. Now I did set the grid and everything like this on this one, and which was very easy. But not all maps are going to have a grid that is. Sometimes you will actually get into a map that will that you're like, I know how to do this. I've done this before. It's here. I mean, that's here. I've done this before, but the problem is when it has a grid. Well, I can help you with that. So we'll close that out. The next spot they go to is the altar. right? And so I'll hit F3, pull up the altar. Whoa, very big. Yeah, it's going to be big until I set it to whatever I want it to be. Okay, so here's a, resize. I can say small size. Look at that. So small and easy to deal with. But also keep in mind, this is something you need to tell your players, because your players are not always going to see the small size. Okay? When they pull it up, they're going to see the big size. But it's okay. But the problem here is these are not real grids. If you see up here, if we pull up Camp in the Woods, here, and I unlock it. See this hashtag? That's my grid. That means it's not a hashtag, it's actually showing grid. Grid has been placed on this map. Those are your 5-foot spaces, typical da 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 da. Here, see there's no hashtag. So I got to create my own grid. It's very simple. Layers. Set grid. Now you see this random thing, right? That's not going to come out very good. So, this is what happens. Sometimes you don't get the right thing, turn the grid off. It doesn't save it. It does not save what you have done. So I usually like to zoom in a little bit. Some people like to do in the right corner, in the corners, and things like that to be able to, you start it into a corner and then you kind of move and adjust. And that will make sense here in a minute. My players in this map are going to really be focused on this area. So from here over, this is where they're going to be focused. So I really don't care what happens with the grid marks. And this will all make sense here in a second. So here, I'll set grid. Now here it is, and now I'm going to make a grid. Try to do, boom. Now it's off a little bit here, right? That's okay. So what I will do is I will click here and then move it over, maybe a touch. Does that look better? Yeah. Can I get away with a little bit more movement? Yeah, it's probably about as much as I can do. Now it's not lining up perfectly, but it's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's still the grid. They still are looking at this grid. Now this area has been gridded. Now, here is what we do next. Now, there is programs out there, just so you know. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way. There is programs out there that you can get that are free. It is like Grid Layout, and there's YouTube videos and things like that. Even if so you just basically load up your map, you adjust the grid so you can get it. Actually, let's see what happens if we go a little bit more. See, I lined up here, but now I'm off. See, I lined up here, I'm off here. Nope. Because remember what I said is the players are going to be here. This is kind of pointless. This is just more for visual. If they go up there, that's perfectly fine. It's still close enough. They're going to be following the grid marks. Anyways. Okay. So here, so remember that we're following their book here. So the grids are there, and so they're on the road, yada yada yada. Let me pull up here in the map. Here. All right. So there's a couple things that happen here. So there's an altar here. And so I want tokens. Now these are just images I've pulled off. Whoa, so big. But now if I didn't set that grid mark, this thing would be this big. That's how big it would be. Now, you're wondering, well, but what if I want it that big? It's perfectly fine. Remember, control, mouse wheel. And I want it to be about that big. And so I want to set it probably like around here is to be an altar. And because that is what this is. It's an altar. So, but I don't want it to be over menacing than the tree. Because that is the blood maple. Which is really cool. So, now we're setting this map up. Okay. Make sure I have it unlocked, so I'm able to do that. We set the grid, and there's some bones in front of it. Boom. Oops. But I want to be a little bit more. So we're just kind of moving things. Figure out the right angle. It is a goblin bone, so. Boom. And we're almost done. Now, before, what we saw was an encounter. Okay? This time, we don't have an, there is an encounter. So, so here is a, by the number of players is the number of giant fire beetles, right? So remember I made this down here. So I just hit 6. Now it's here. And I just need to put tokens on the map. They're swarming this. So I know that I'm going to have at least 3 players. Well, I'm hoping that 3 players are here. And then they're going to probably bring a actually I'll probably do something like this. Kind of not the right spacing. But it's close enough. Swarming, right? So in the module it says maple, blood maple shading a large stone altar, swarmed by the number of flying berry equal to the number of party members. So I'm hoping if everyone shows, it'll be 3 party members, and 3 party members, and they're bringing a sidekick, and I'm going to count the sidekick as a player, which is fine. All right, let's move it off with the skeleton so it doesn't dwarf the skeleton. So they're swarming this altar, right? These things are swarming this altar. Boom. That's done. So this scene is officially over. Like, there's really nothing else left to do. So, I have the fire beetles. If more people come, if less people come, I can just maybe, because they have a choice for 2 different sidekicks, which I will show you how to make sidekicks here in a minute. But what we do is we set the maps up first and foremost. At least that's what I'm doing through here. And so we're setting the maps up, and here we are. So we got the there, and they see them as soon as they come in here. This is going to be all visible, so that I don't need an encounter. I can just set them on the map. And what I do is, you're like, well, how do I know it's going to stay? And blah 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 blah. I just lock it. Boom, it's done. Now it's locked. It's a little lock number. Okay. Now it's locked, and so we're good to go on here. Okay, so here is the scene. There's a blood maple over an altar. There's a goblin's skeleton is there. These are all Nomenon. Okay, and they're clearing into this. So when they present, when I present this, they're going to be coming directly from this area. And I didn't want to clear path because this is rough terrain. I want them to stay away from the like hiding, or not hiding, but trying to like funnel things in because it's rough terrain. That's perfectly fine. They can get to them fast, but they're going to be able to attack. They know this is their known terrain, so on and so forth. So it doesn't matter. So this scene is over. So in this, because I will be releasing this after we've played, so you actually, this is just the prep for it, and then that way that nobody tries to sneakily look into this before they play. So, as you know, the players will move in. There's a puzzle that is created with this, and yada yada. They get into the tree. Now, the next part was a little bit harder. So we've set our grid here and all that kind of good stuff. So we're done with this one. And we F4. Next scene. Is there an Undercroft? Now, I've already set this grid. This grid was really easy to make and do. But you can see it's a little bit off. Nothing I could do. But the players don't know that. They don't see it. So in this one, there are multiple things that happen in here. Let me just make sure I say it right. The point of no return, be used separate, blah blah blah. Yes. Okay, how many? Okay. So I'm hoping for 4. So what I was saying here, it was now there's twig blights. Literally directly from the thing. They are all dancing around this room. I'm hoping for 4 players. And so twig blights were already been made. Okay. And I can easily take these off and on. And keep in mind that you can set the map up almost, and if I have to delete one, I just right click and I say delete token. Players do not see these until I right click and click share. And then it will share with them, and then they will see the scene. Until that happens, they do not see it. And then here, I automatically already placed this. This is just my own. It wasn't on fire. I wanted it on fire, so I had a campfire, bonfire type kind of token that I just placed there to give it a little bit more illumination to why this small room, and it's supposed to be a small room. It's a 40 by 40 room. So you can see here is very small. But these are big 5 foot squares. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And then we should be here, right? So I gave them an extra 5-foot space basically, and this is longer than the 40. It's close enough. It's close enough. So essentially, they come through the tree, and they come downstairs into this room where everything is a dance around that y'all have seen, things like that. So now I've set the twig blights there, and they got their claws and whatnot that are happening now. The twig blight reactions. They have claws, right? And then they have everything, but in this one does have a reaction. A reaction that will happen that I will know is if the blight hits with an attack and draws blood, it can regain 1 hit point. Now, I didn't go in and make a duplicate just to add that in there. I know it's in here. You know why I know it's in here? Because it's right here. Because it's something special the DM, or not the DM, but the creator of this module wanted to put in there. So, that's fine with me. Let him do it. I'll play along. Now, the NPC that we need to create for this encounter is a blighted. This is a twig blight. Now we have a blighted Nilbog, which is, as you know, was the basically possessed goblin that the party is here to find. And so they don't have a specific blighted Nilbog goblin, right? So what I've done, you just quickly come into NPCs, remember? Remember I was telling you about that? Did the same thing. Now I'm creating my new NPC. Then I just click add. It'll say new personality. Boom. I don't want to do that because I've already started that process. So I'll just delete it. So what I've done, blighted Nilbog. Now it has in there. It's not connected to anything. This is totally homebrew. Now, they don't know is that this is actually Squeaks. It depends. The reason I made it very a non ID name and put the name of who they come to find here is because if they don't take the sidekicks, they're hopefully have asked for a explanation of what it looks like and things like that. If it's evil or not, this is possessed. This goblin was possessed by this, basically like a trickster. But despite everything like that, which you know, yada yada yada. So here is the page. Okay, it shows all the stats here, everything I need to enter it. So basically, all I'm doing is doing data entry at this point. I make sure it's unlocked. I set a token to it. I basically just put token, and I put goblin. And I had choices. This one's wearing a hat, and things like that. I chose this, but actually I kind of like, I don't know, actually. Since these, it's kind of just fading into the black. I don't know, how's this one look? Yeah, delete token. So here's how you delete tokens. Because I don't like how that it fades in to the background too much. So I'm going to just Goblin Spellcaster. Boom. I just ran it over the top of it and it automatically changes it out because I have it unlocked. All right. So in this scene, they're all dancing around this fire. And there's our goblin. And they're dancing. Da 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 da. Okay. But now it needs to have an actual why is my mind going blank here? I'm sorry. It needs to have actual stats, which is fine because I have them already. So, size. Well, it's obviously small. You don't have to type. I mean, really, you don't even have to type all this. Type goblin, and then alignment. Chaotic, neutral. Okay. Alrighty. So armor class, and it says it all right here. 12. Oops. 12. Hit points. It wants this one to have 7. Speed, 30. Feet. Remember, these are 5 foot. So, I mean, you get 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I mean, almost get there, which is fine. Because this is what I was looking at. Most people are going to come right here. Okay. Now we're going to stats. And on these, most of these one shots, we try to get a little bit closer for you. See, look, armor, like what I was talking about, armor class, hit points, speed. Here, it's all right there. It's not hard. You basically, like I said, you're just plugging it in. 8 strength, 14 dex, 10 con, 10 intellect, not very smart, 8 wisdom. So I just click on it, hit the number, 8. Charisma, 15. Bard type. Saving throws. It is dex +4 and charisma +4. Skills. Acrobatics +4. Performance. Oops. Performance +4. Insight. Y'all probably were like, why did you do that? Oops. +1. Look at that. Saving throw. Oh, it doesn't do it. Wow. See, look at that. Dexterity, saving throw. Look at this charisma. Saving throw. Boom. It already applies it to my saving throw. This is a check. This is saving. That's what C and then S. Saving. So they're here. They're there. There you guys. It's this easy. Now, it took me a long. What I was doing before was I'd create a new PC and then da 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 da. It's already here for you. Now, does it give me damage vulnerabilities? Don't really see much. Don't care. Damage resistance, damage immunities. Let's see. Nope. Nope. Okay. Senses. So it doesn't have any of these conditioned immunities or anything. This is beginning. This is level 1s. So that's typical. So senses. Dark vision. .60 feet. And passive perception 9. Language is common. This is a challenge rating 2. And if I gave it, since they took the time to put it in there, 450 experience. Okay. Okay. Does it have any traits? Okay, let's see what we have here. All right, Squeaks is a first level spellcaster. His ability is Charisma. To hit with spell attack, Squeaks has the following spells prepared. Okay. Friends. Cantrips. Let's see spells. So there's 2 level 1 spell slots. So we need to add spells in here. Well, that's easy. We just easily go to a library. We pull up the player's handbook. Boom. Spells. Oh. Well, what? I can literally just pull up spell. Yes, you can. What does he have? Friends. Oops. Oh, this is a bard. There it is. So I was doing it not. So Squeaks is a bard. I mean, obviously, if you know, he's a performer and da 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 da. So here's the cantrips. At will. Friends. So it has friends. Oh, no. Yeah, we're not adding into that. Okay. So friends. And then it also has, let's see, what else does it have? Friends. Tasha's hideous laughter. But they made this one an at will, a cantrip. It's just fine. Okay. So we're just putting in what the creator made it. Thorn Whip. It's probably a druid ability. Vicious Mockery. Mockery. Let's look at druid. Thorn Whip. Figured. Level 0, level 0. Okay. So those are the cantrips, right? See how it says cantrip? Even though Tasha's I'll hide it in there. And then he has first level, which only has 2 slots. Charm person. I believe that is still, though, a druid spell. Yeah, let's get the druid spell in there. Charm person. Entangle. Yeah. So this one's kind of like intermixing with E, and then heroism. There it is. First, tangle, and heroism. So it's good because now I have the entangle that's there. So I'm obviously doing this before I do the actual life play. So you see all these things that are open, and it's it does get confusing a little bit, just a tiny bit. So reactions, and so nimble escape. So actions. So spells are done. We're done with the spells. So bonus actions. So let's pull up. We don't need spells anymore. Okay, we don't need that either. So we need skills. What was it? Nimble escape. Can I just type in? Yeah, it's gonna pull it right up from here. Where would that? Feats. Let's see. It's not there. Because I know. Oh, yeah. I will just do nimble. I know it's in here. I just, here's. Boom. So one thing I can do NPC, your goblin. Oh, well, there's nimble escape. I can go into the combat tracker. So here's another way to do it, right? So monster manual, just drop it in here, right? And then I pull it up. See, now I can unlock it. You remember how earlier it wasn't it was red. So basically okay. +4 to hit, or hit. Okay. So what I can do is I can add a dagger. See, look at that. Control C, Control V, oop, Z, V. It's done. Now the only thing different is on this one has 4 to hit, +4 to hit, which is reach 5, 1 target. Yep. That's the dagger. That's what it does. So essentially, or I can do it as, and this will be both piercing damage. So just change this to piercing damage. See, look at that. Boom. Do that, and look at that. Type piercing damage. It does what I need it to do. Reach 5 feet or range 20, 60 feet. Plus 4, whatever. Done. Reactions. So this one doesn't have any. All right. So NPC done. All right. That's how you can utilize your combat tracker to copy and paste. So we got nimble escape. Okay. So a lot of these abilities with this so as you've seen is Squeaks is possessed by this trickster. And so a lot of these things are in red, which it doesn't matter. It's just if you were to take this beyond for further use. This is the hardest one, mainly just because this is like, essentially it's like the boss. So they have a lot of cool things, right? So in reactions, we have reversal of fortune. So let's go back to our library. Let's go to the Dungeons Manager's Guide. All right. So what we're going to do, reactions, head, reverse. We're just going to make it easier until instead of finding, like I said, I am not this is mainly me for, all this is getting it to new DMs, right? It's in here, it's doing this now. When Fantasy Grounds is going to update, you're able to do a search, and then through the search is able to look through this. It's only looking through this each category that's here, and then doing a search, and then another category, doing a search, things like that. It's not going to find it in these categories, so you can easily find through what you're looking for. Hold on, I'm going to take a steep. Sorry about that. All right, so in response, so I easily just put this up here. You can't see what I'm doing here. Well, another creature. Damage. Just squeaks. So the only other thing okay. So skills, nope, spells, bard. Okay. Class, bard. Features. Okay. Oops. Bardic Inspiration. Alright, the only thing we need to do then we have so I mean I'm assuming some of this is obviously a homebrew any creature that attempts to damage damage squeaks. It's first succeed. Next one succeed. DC 12 charisma. Saving throw. Or be charmed until the end of their next turn. Creature charmed in this way must use its action raising squeaks squeaks can't regain hit points, including magical healing, except through her reversal of fortune. Reaction. Okay. So that is the Blighted Nibelung. That's everything that's there. Like I said, very easy. Takes a little time, which we've used a little bit of time to do it, right? Now, as setting this up, it's through here. Now, one error that I've made through this is that I do have to make this an encounter. Okay? The reason why is because of one simple thing. Combat tracker. Now, I can apply these to the combat tracker, yada, 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 yada. But the problem with that is applying these through the combat tracker is they're all going to have separate roles. Okay. And so we don't want to do that. So here's encounter. Now, obviously, going to have to do it for the other map, which is really quick. So now that I've showed y'all how to do it before, right? So we're just going to do it really quick. So probably going to be a little silent while I do it. But we're just going to click add new one. This encounter is the Undercrofts Squeaks. Okay. Now, remember these simple things that we put down here? Twig blades. Oops, sorry. Grabbed the wrong thing. Now we knew we were going to have four of those. And NPCs that we created. Now we got to go to Blighted Nibelung. Oh, look at that. Done. We can lock that down. Oops, sorry. I think it's hiding underneath there. Because if I move that, there it is, right? There's that pin. So now we're placing these. Okay. So I want them neutral starting out. No, so I just deleted the tokens. See, it doesn't remove them from a combat log. And then I add them. See, they're all neutral. But either way, there they are. It's done. Okay. And so I can always reduce that number if I have to. But we've added our pin, right? Now I can move this pin where I want it to be. And then they're placed. Done. Quick and easy. Now, we have to do that because the reason, like I said, the reason why I did that is so I can easily click the combat log. So this one's done. And we need to pull up the altar and do the same thing here. The encounter. Encounters. Oh yeah, it's already here. New. Call altar. Clearing. Beetle. Clearing. This image, these are here. We want to add, this one's easy because I just do 4, right? And we delete that token, delete, 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 and then we place these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good. That's actually better. Then I just click them and boom, they're visible. Or they're there. Now, like I said, I'll put the pin there. Lock it down. Don't care about the CR rating. Boom. See, I can automatically add them in, make them visible. Done. They won't even know that is happening. Okay. Log, delete. I like to keep these invisible. That way the players don't see them. I don't like to show the NPCs. Because they get information. They get initiative. They get hit points. They get temp points. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Now, this is all just making it easier on the DM. See this pin, they don't see this pin as usual, like I was saying before. They don't see that pin. Now we have two sidekicks that we're going to use. So I made a quick link to some sidekicks of sidekicks to use. Now, these are going to create it into the NPCs. Okay? And these are very easy to do. So I will explain it. Let's create one first, and then I will show you how to do it. Okay? So first and foremost, I have a list of sidekicks. And you're probably wondering how I got that. Well, I also have the Essentials kit, which I also have library. I have it loaded. It's a module. Then I have it loaded. You know, you click load or unload, right? And this is if the players can see it or not. And so I have Essentials kit, which had some sidekicks. And the thing is they have the actual ratings and all that kind of good stuff. So I want to create an expert. Well, I can't do anything, right? Because it's here. Not so fast. So combat log, I create expert, I put it in here. So one of mine is, it doesn't say it's an expert, but knowing how these work. So like there's spellcasters, there's warriors. These are your fighters. Expert is like your rogues. This one's actually a monk. So I'm kind of gonna change it. Now you see, like I was showing you before, see how this is a red, right? Read only, can't touch it. And you're like, well, what can I do? Well, as soon as I put it in here into the combat tracker, it made a copy of it. So all I have to do is close this out. Don't need this. These, I will need this later to create the other one. Well, actually, I'll just put it here. There is 2 potential. Boom. Okay. So, and you're wondering, well, I can't do anything. I can't open this. I can't do, like it's still, oh, it's not red no more. Because it made a copy of it. These are friendly. What does it make them friendly? So the first one, exit here. All I have to do is, as usual, this is not an expert. This is Deirdre. The dancer. She doesn't have anything in there. There's no unidentified creature. That's fine. Don't need it. Okay. Size. It is a medium. It is a humanoid. What else? Just adding in the information. Remember how we did it on Squeaks, or the corrupted Squeaks? Alignment. This doesn't matter. And only if you're doing it through that, but I'll just put it in here. So it's in here. Chaotic, good. All right, now the armor is 14, but it's since it's a muck. So this is obviously doing it off of rogue actions, right? That's okay. We just change it. It doesn't change anything. Unarmored defenses. Defense, sorry. Now this Deidre has 10 hit points. Not 11. It's okay. Speed. But it does. She has 40-foot speed. Okay. Now her strength is 9. Boom. Dex 16. Whew. Nice. Con 11. Intellect 9. Not very smart. 12 on wisdom. And charisma is 8. Just like we saw before. Here is... I'm just copying and pasting this stuff. It's really that easy, guys. As you get used to it, it will go faster. Things like that. Strength or saving throws is 5. And strength is... Did it do... Oh, challenge rating. Now these are a challenge rating of 2. 450 experience. Dex plus 5. Strength. Here plus 1. So acrobatics is 5. Athletics is plus 1. Because I don't have all this. Acrobatics plus 5. And then we have say athletics. Plus 1. Boom. Senses. Passive perception. Plus 11. Dark vision. She also has a dark vision. $60 feet. Passive perception. Languages. Common. Plus your choice. You will choose Elvish. Okay. Now. Okay. So we're back into, whoops, move here, library, Player's Handbook, classes, monk. Weapons list, armed arm. Mm-hmm. So I'm just removing this stuff. She doesn't have sword. She has a dagger. She doesn't have a short bow. Okay. Step of the Wind. I think Step of the Wind. Key, unarmored movement. Okay. Classes, skills, spells, monk. Monk. Oh. Feats. Feats of feet. Nope. No, we're gonna check that. Classes. Monk. Ooh, pretty. Mm. Okay, I don't know where it's at. So we'll just add it here. External interactions. Oh, druid. Brr. Okay. I know it's here. I just don't know where it's at. of the wind. Okay, so I want it there. These are like feats, but also traits of the monk, step of the wind. So I don't know why I can't find them there, but okay. Nope. Okay. So okay. Okay. Melee weapon attack. It is melee weapon attack is 5 to hit plus 5 to hit. Reach is 5 foot. 1 target. Hit will be, if it hits, it's 5 plus 1d4 plus 3. And that will be 1 to 8. Yep. Do not any damage. No. Dagger. 5 to hit. D4 plus 3. Here's the damage. Sweet. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Not editing. So, Deidre. Now, token. Now just lock it down. And look. Watch this. Now here's the cool part. I'm gonna add her. And then I just pull up Deidre, the dancer. Yeah. Boom. The reason I did that was because of one thing. As soon as because now I created NPC. And go through there. I thought I was gonna use more of the stuff, and instead of I just end up actually creating almost everything. And so I just delete it, right? And then I can unlock this one, remove copy, lock it down. Now it's in the NPCs though. And you're like, why would I do that? Because Deidre, the dancer, I would put her here. Now she's in the combat. It's going to come up hostile, make it friendly. And then so what you would do is as soon as you do this, you make it friendly, and then you drag the player, this thing, over on top of the player. Sorry, wrong. You grab this, and then you put it on top of the player that's going to be controlling them, and then they have control. And that's it. And then now they are control of them. So do the same thing with this. So this one's going to be a lot faster. Because we're just going to unlock it here. There, it's Seer Shans. All right, medium, humanoid, first level, and it is neutral. Good. It has an armor class of 9. Hit points is 9. Speed 30 feet. Strength 10. 9 on Dex. Con 10. Intellect 16. 12 on Wisdom. 10 on Charisma. Saving throws. Wisdom is +3. Has 5 skills. Arcana +5. History +5. Not equals 5. +5. Passive perception 11. But it's blind. Common. What was 2? Not 20. Whoa. 450 experience. And casting. The second level spellcaster. Alright. Three. He has message, precipitation, and true strike. Okay, it's fine. He's not a healer. Which it doesn't matter, because I just changed everything. So, not a problem. I did select the healer option. Which doesn't matter. I modified everything, so it's all the same spells. Wizard. These are all wizard spells. So, message. True strike. And then identify. Sleep, Thunderwave. Sleep. And Thunderwave. Done. Okay. Quarterstaff. +2 on hit for each. Hit is three 1d6 damage, or 4 1d8. 4 1d8 bludgeoning damage if used with 2 hands. Oh, so quarterstaff is there. That's done. All we need to do is one thing. This guy has potent. So, classes. Wizard. Conjuration, I think it is. Nope. Divination. Or portent. Nope. That's done. And that's it. And that's it. Literally. That's it. All we have to do is fill in a token. To follow tokens. Yeah. PCs. No. Okay, can't use these. Okay. That's alright. So... Done. And just like I did before. Library done. This is locked down. We go to NPCs. We go here. Chance. We delete here. Pull them up here. We unlock. Move copy. Lock it down. Done. And we just did it. So, as I stated before, so only thing we'd have to do is in the camp, we need to put Seer Shanes here. And Deidre. We're doing. No, actually, it's me walking in with the party. And that's it. Now we're physically done. We're done. We set up a party. So the whole point of this channel is we give ourselves 2 hours of prep time. And we're going to do, put it basically, when we do live stream, we're going to be 2 hours basically playtime. Now, if they're at their end, we're not going to just do a hard cutoff. Oh, it's over. You had your chance. It's not a rush or anything like that. When it's the whole point is to see what we can do. What the players can do with this is a very simple one shot. Gets players into it, gets players playing, things like that. We have set each scene. So this is the first scene. Then F4. Right? Here's the Undercroft. Then we have the altar. We have the grid is set. The monsters are set. The new little with the clearing in the woods. They're coming into here. Really, really cool. Right? And coming into here. So this is very, very easy going into this. Hopefully this has been informative. If as I'm setting up these things, if there's something that you would like me to focus on you to see more information on, things like that, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that is the channel, and this is the first one. So like I said, here is we do the prep, and then we're going to do a run, and then we're going to do just a review on the campaign itself. Was it fun? Was it easy? Could have been more challenging, could have been done something here, could have been whatever. Sometimes some of these one shots don't need to be 4 hours, don't need to do that. There's ones there that have like a very unique story that is all involving. Sometimes it's quicker and easier. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but the players have a chance to see what they can do with the time that they're given and see what can happen. Until next time, it was an enjoyable time, and I hope this was fun and informative. And yeah, that's it. Good night.